What's going on, folks? We are live coming to you on my lunch break. Figured we would have a lunch break take today. Just something quick because of the times of the games with Buffalo starting early, like at 4:30. Um, Figured like let's go let's do a lunch break take. I haven't gone live on lunch break in a while. I'm also rolling live on Facebook in my Facebook group, Pro Fan Talk. So what's going on to all my Pro Fan peeps on Facebook? And checking out the news early this morning. Got the TV rolling in the background. They're not going to have anything, especially after last night. There's not going to be anything game changing, probably as of right now. Everybody's contemplating, trying to process what happened last night with the Cowboys. My guess would be McCarthy is probably going to be fired. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Angela. So, yeah, there's probably going to be some decisions made in the next couple days, but I would be surprised if Dallas does anything like immediately. Um, Got to give them time to process it. Although it was fun to watch last night, don't get it twisted. it was it was definitely fun to watch. Um, all of the Whedon Boys stuff and everything, and I understand that's the fandom of it, and that comes with the territory. So you get used to that. But for some reason, Dallas fans just take it to another level. But you know what? In the reality of it, they say the same things about us. They say the same thing about Philadelphia fans, the same thing about Kansas City fans, all of that kind of stuff. I saw the jokes last night in the Rams and Detroit game when they showed Eminem, and then immediately everybody goes back, being sarcastic with the comments about Taylor Swift at the KC games and stuff like that. So you ain't gonna please everybody. Robert, what's going on, bro? Um, yeah, you ain't gonna please everybody. It is what it is. So, but don't get it twisted. It was very enjoyable to watch last night. Dallas just falling apart. And like I was, if you caught my live stream last night after the game, it's like Dallas went 8-0, and they were talking. And you know what? I can't even say that. I can't even say that Dallas was talking smack all year. They weren't talking smack. That's the most frustrating part for a Cowboys fans. They weren't talking smack. Dallas was legit the best team, especially when the Eagles fell off. We gifted the Cowboys the NFC East. We gave it to them, and they gave it right back when it mattered, anyways. You had the home field advantage. You had Green Bay. Nobody expected Green Bay to win that game at home. Dallas, y'all were killing folks at home, destroying teams while you were at home, and you got everything you wanted lined up on a silver platter, and you just could not seal the deal. I'm with you, Robert. It was feeling mighty good. Alfonso, what's going on, bro? Um, it was enjoyable to watch. The world is better when Dallas loses, and that's coming from an Eagles fan. But yeah, man. To that point, um, Cowboys fans get annoying and all of that kind of stuff. And again, and let me preface this by saying, so do we, so do Kansas City fans, so do Washington fans, so do Giants fans and Jets fans and Raiders fans. Every fan base gets on your nerves. 49ers fans, every fan base gets on your nerves. So that comes with the territory. That's the cost of doing business in the NFL if you're a fan. So that doesn't necessarily bother me. But sometimes they take it to the next level. But they were not talking smack. Dallas was legit. Dak was legit an MVP candidate because he was playing that well. CD Lamb was a legit non-quarterback MVP candidate because he was killing fools. He was running by everybody. And for that stretch, Dak and CD had it together. Whatever thing they had going, they were in sync. They were in the zone. You guys have heard me say this before. When you are in a zone as a skilled player, the world slows down. That is the easiest way to describe it. Everything in the world slows down. Think of your favorite movie, your favorite action movie, and just remember that scene in your favorite action movie when they go slow motion. some heroic scene being set up towards the end of the movie or something, and everything goes in slow motion. That's what it feels like when you are in the zone. I've been like that as a running back. Everybody named mama knows I am going to get the ball. And as soon as that ball touches my fingertip, the world slows down. I know exactly where everybody is. I know exactly where everybody's going, and I see my exit strategy. I'm going this way, but I see the cutback hole back there, and nobody thinks I can get there. That's what it means to be in a zone, and nobody can stop you. Dak and CD were in a zone the last 4 or 5 games of the regular season. And then last night, I don't know what it was. From the first play, they just seemed out of sync. And then CD, a couple of balls went right through his hands. They weren't perfect balls, but the rule is if it hits your hands and you in the NFL, it is supposed to be caught. Period. That is the rule. If it touches your hands, you're supposed to catch it. And they weren't bad balls. So I don't know what they came on late, but by that time it was garbage time. The game was out of hand. And I didn't see LaFleur or Green Bay just having a monumental failure like that. So I don't know what happened. I'm glad it did happen, and I'm glad I had a chance to watch it. But I don't know. That'll be the conversation, because I'm gonna get on some Twitter Spaces this week with some Cowboys fans, and that's a weird situation, because they weren't talking smack. They did have a legit team. Dak was playing at a high level. CD was playing at a high level. Parsons was playing at a high level. And let me say this again before I get too far. We, the Philadelphia Eagles, wrote the blueprint on how to beat Micah Parsons in that defense. We figured that out last year. The blueprint is to run at Micah Parsons. Teams that try to avoid him, you can't avoid him. He's too fast. So you run at him. Or like Green Bay did, you run the play action at him. Either way, he has to react because it's coming down his throat. We wrote the blueprint, and we the only team that don't follow it. That gets into the frustration that we are having this year with our Philadelphia Eagles. So we just going to enjoy what happened yesterday, but we got to get ready for tonight. This is going to be a game to see which hurt quarterback plays the best. Jalen's got his busted up finger, and Baker Mayfield has got a bum ankle and busted ribs. The ribs are the issue, because that means you can push him around every time he goes to the ground. It is not going to be a comfortable situation. I don't care what type of flak jacket you have, anything that is bad for business. And there's nothing that you could do that really numbs the pain, because if you take something, it's hard to take a shot when everything hurts. You take a shot in the knee, that's a pretty much centralized location. When you're talking about your ribs, you're talking about all of this. So even if you take the shot up here, how much of that is gonna go around? How much is it gonna help? You don't know. And the minute you move, turn, torque, take impact, hit the ground, and somebody lands on top of you, that's a problem. That's a problem. When your ribs hurt, when your ribs hurt, if you even sit down on the toilet to use the bathroom, it hurts. When you inhale, when you sneeze, when you cough, everything hurts. So I don't expect Baker Mayfield to be full speed, but if we don't take advantage of it, what difference does it make? If we don't take advantage of that opportunity, we need to have him on the run every play we can. Send the blitz, get him moving every chance we get. He's going to have to get rid of the ball quick. So we have to anticipate that. So they barely, and I mean barely, beat Carolina. So, yes, we are the better team, but my fear is, are we going to come up with some bull jive offensive game plan where we're going to be hitting the bubble screens and all of that kind of stuff? Who's taking A.J. Brown's place? Are we going to have somebody go across the middle with the slants? Can Quez Watkins do it? Because at this point, you might as well see what you got. If Nick Sirianni has that much faith in Quez Watkins, send him across the middle on that slant. Like you do A.J. Brown. Put him to the test. Because at this point, this is the last day of school. Put it all on the table. See what you got. So that way you know without a shadow of a doubt what you have and what you don't have. There's no reason. Put him on the blocks. I would love to see in a situation like this, Albert O get some clock. I don't even know if he's still on the team. I'm a big fan of his because I know that kid's got some athletic ability, but for some reason, he doesn't play a lot. He just doesn't. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the mindset is with that. I don't know if they just like Stoll and Calcaterra better. He's definitely faster. And then you see, I forget what his name is, number 9 for the Texans. I thought he was a wide receiver. He's their tight end. And we got somebody just as fast on our squad, but we don't use him. So I don't know. What I hope is that we have an offensive game plan that takes advantage of what we have. Use the weapons that we have. Take A.J. Brown off the board. You still got Devontae Smith. You still got DeAndre Swift. And you still got Dallas Goedert. You still have 3 weapons. Honestly, I don't know what to call Jalen Hurts right now. Is he going to run the ball? Are we going to go back to RPO like we did last year? Is his throwing going to be compromised because of that finger injury? I don't know. Is Jalen Hurts going to be able to throw effectively with that finger injury? Because it's not anything serious, but when you get an injury like that, it lingers. It hurts every time you try to grip the ball. And again, if I'm Tampa Bay, if I get anywhere close to Jalen Hurts, I am coming down and I'm tomahawk chopping that hand. I'm slapping them fingers every chance I get. That's the cost of doing business. So he's going to have to protect himself, and the same rules apply. To keep himself out of harm's way, he's going to have to get rid of the ball or hand it off or whatever they decide to do. But at some point in time, he's going to have to pay the piper. Byron Jones, what's going on, homie? At some point in time, Jalen Hurts is going to have to pay that price because somebody's going to come after his hands. He's going to try to brace himself or balance himself, and he's going to put pressure on that hand, and we're going to see what we're going to see. He's either going to come up grimacing or, it's better than we expected. But either way, eventually he's going to have to throw the ball, and we're going to see what we got. Is he going to sail it? Is he going to have no power on it? And is it going to float? Different things like that you can't figure out until the game starts. So, Byron, I see you, homie. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, we gotta. It is what it is. It is what it is. I don't want to see any bubble screens tonight. I would like to see some real screens, either a tight end screen or running back screen, and put them in a different situation so the ball doesn't get deflected because everybody and their mama knows what play we are running. I need to see some creativity now. All of this flick the switch stuff, that doesn't happen in the NFL. But again, I've been saying this for the past 3-4 weeks. Our issues are not complicated. Run the ball, run play action, and throw short to mid passes instead of mid to long passes. All them times, think about all the times Jalen Hurts is dropped back and he's waiting and he's waiting and he's waiting, and then he ends up taking off. You talking about 5 seconds worth of pass protection? That's a lifetime in the NFL. And if you can't get rid of the ball after 3 to 4 seconds, there's something wrong. That's a coverage sack. Then he tries to roll out to the right and try to make something happen going towards the sidelines. By then, it's too late. You're either going to throw it towards the sidelines, it's either going to be incomplete, or you're going to try to run it at the last minute and probably take a sack. Not that they sacked you, but you might go out of bounds before you hit the line of scrimmage. So that would be considered a sack if somebody, last person that touched you, I believe. But common sense, man. Let's get DeAndre Swift off tackle outside. Let's not do DeAndre Swift tackle to tackle on the inside. You got to set him up to run downhill to bounce out. That's his strength. Let Kenny Gainwell go tackle to tackle if that's what you want to do. You got to play it smart. We still have the best offensive line in football, arguably. Let's use it. Let's use it. What time is it? 12:15. Okay. So, it's not rocket science what we have to do. Cody K, what's going on, man? Cody K, why you anxious, bro? It is what it is. At this point, it is what it is. The only thing that's going to make me anxious is if we come out like we looked against the Giants. And I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. What I'm hoping is because the weather's supposed to be, the weather's not going to be bad. I don't even want to call it bad weather after seeing what's going on in Buffalo and what happened in Kansas City. It's supposed to be 70-something degrees and raining down in Florida. We'll live with that. We a cold weather team anyways. We can operate in the cold. So, but with that weather and Jalen's finger, what I would think is we would have a run heavy attack today. Use the run, set up your play action, and Jalen has to go short to mid passes. Nothing deep. We're going to go deep eventually, but all of that is based upon the fact that can he throw the ball deep? I want to see what he can do with that finger. Northeast Sports, what's going on, Brody? Today's the day. It's game day, man. It's game day. What's up, William? I just saw you pop in. Jalen Hurts does not seem to like cold water quarterback. He had a bad game against Chicago Bears last year in the cold. No. I'm glad you brought that up, William. Let me address that. In my opinion, no, he didn't. In my opinion, that was the game where he got hurt. And then me, as a running back, Byron Jones, I'm going to answer you. I'm going to get with that comment in a second because I got an issue with that. Last year, William, if you remember, it was 17 degrees outside. It was freezing in Chicago. And we were trying to throw the ball all over the place. And I was like, in a game like that, I said the same thing with the Miami game in Kansas City. When elements become a factor, you got to go back to the old ways. Smash mouth football. You don't run your quarterback 17 times in a game where it's 17 degrees. You keep your quarterback off the ground. Give the ball to the guys you pay to run the ball. We RPO'd 17 times. Jalen had 17 called runs last year. And that one caught him, and that's when he hurt his shoulder or whatever. That was the game, and it was unnecessary. Our offensive line was killing folks at that point. Just hand the ball off. That ended up costing us. That's how we ended up losing to Dallas in Dallas because Gardner Minshew had to play. If Jalen plays in Dallas last year, we probably sweep Dallas. But we ran the ball too much in the elements. Oh, I'm sorry, we threw the ball too much in the elements. We should have ran the ball more, and we should have been handing it off to Miles Sanders and Gainwell, and we didn't do that. So, Byron, you talking about quick strikes. There has been an issue with the Philadelphia faithful about the Eagles always going for the quick strike or the big play. I don't want the big play. I want the reasonable play. There's been got to be 5 to 10 plays, probably more this year, where we needed 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5, and we launched the ball 30 yards down the field on a deep go route to A.J. Brown when we didn't need that. A.J. Brown was more successful going across the middle because his yak yards were off the chain. Get the ball to him 7 yards deep on a slant going across the middle and watch him break a tackle. He was doing it all year. But we chose the difficult route. Now, I don't know if Jalen was changing the play and they were just going for the long shot, but that's where you got to be as a coach. Call the play that's called. or draw it up because you know that's going to work. That you don't need 3rd and 5 for a high percentage shot or take a low percentage pass when you can take a high percentage pass right across the middle and just keep the chains moving. That's how we almost gave the game away against Dallas. Because we had a chance to get a first down and run out the clock, but we went for the big strike, the big play, and it ended up costing us. Trying to read Northeast Sports, selective quarterback runs, key situations, 2nd, 3rd and 2, goal line situations. Don't be. Yes, you don't have to be so predictable, but here's my thing: more than predictability, right? When you're going to run the ball, number one, DeAndre Swift is a dynamic runner. He's an explosive runner. He can beat you outside. If you noticed, a lot of the runs, a lot of the big plays that Gainwell and DeAndre Swift had this year, they were inside plays that they bounced outside. So what that means is you're going from tackle to tackle. If it's closed off, that means you become a running back. And you make chicken salad out of chicken shit. You bounce outside, somebody loses contain, and you get outside and you take a no gain play and you turn it into 5 to 10. That's being a running back, making something happen. That has happened many times. So, number one, DeAndre Swift is not a good inside. No, he is not an inside runner. He can run inside okay. But you're better off going off tackle to outside. Skinny pitch, outside pitch, off tackle read. When you're talking about a read play for somebody like DeAndre Swift, he has got the speed and the breakaway. As long as you get him the ball deep, then you say, you be a running back. So you read what you see and you hit the hole. There is no, you go to the 6 hole or the 8 hole or you cut it back. There's none of that. You get him the ball as deep as possible and you let him read and be a running back. Go to where you see it open. Terrell Davis used to do that all the time in Denver. That's what made him so good. That's why that offensive line was so good. They gave Terrell Davis the ball as deep as they could, and he would just run to where he saw daylight. That's the best way to do it because you can't game plan that. And whenever a quarterback reverses out and sticks the ball out so the linebackers can see, linebackers will always flow with the ball. It sets up play action, it sets up your blocks, and it sets up your screens. The run game is the first domino of a complete attack. If you don't use it right, everything else is not going to work. So when I see us in gun formation with the running back to the left or to the right, and Jalen gives that half-baked fake, and the running back does a half-hearted fake, takes a step up, now he's looking to pass protect, which is what you're supposed to do. The problem is when you see that as a linebacker, it doesn't make the linebackers move. You got to get the linebackers to move off their spots. That's the benefit of play action. Dallas used to kill us with that every time. That was the best thing about Zeke. Zeke would carry out his fakes, and Dallas would run play action to no end. And they would kill us every time. Dallas had this one play. They would fake to Zeke to the right. Dak would stick that ball out. Linebackers would flow. And the tight end would just kind of mingle down the line of scrimmage and kind of float out into nothingness. And Dak would throw it backside and it would hit us for 5 to 10 every time. And it was a great play to move the chains. We couldn't stop it. Couldn't stop it. Rick Diaz, what's going to happen to the Eagles tonight? We don't know. Nobody knows everything in Tampa is going to go to win the game. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. Let's just watch the game. Rick, you're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. Yeah, Rick, the Cowboys are gone. Let's not talk about the Cowboys. Nah, let's talk about the Cowboys a little bit more. Just a little bit, bro. Just a little bit. It's too much fun to let it go. Teddy Rock, I've been screaming to let the running backs earn their NFL paychecks. Listen, as a running back, as a former running back, I already know my position is going extinct. Everybody's a hybrid. You got to be a running back / slot, just like you got to be a fullback / tight end. Everything's a hybrid now. But for the second year in a row, we've had a good to great running back. As much as people don't like Miles Sanders was a very good running back. And if we would have played our cards right, he could have led the league in rushing. Same thing with DeAndre Swift. We've been bitching about running the ball all year. And in spite of all of that, DeAndre Swift was still ranked 5th in the league in rushing. Just imagine if DeAndre Swift would have averaged 15 carries a game. And my logic is it's not about rushes. It's about touches. So let's say we give him 8 carries and throw the ball to him 4 times a game. Maybe not even 4 times. Let's give him 2 screens. But for the most part, let's just make the rule that DeAndre Swift must touch the ball at least 10 to 15 times a game as your number 1 running back. Not Jalen Hurts. Keep him out of harm's way. We done paid him all of that money. You don't want to get your franchise player hurt. Get a ball to the guys you pay to run the ball. Rick says the Cleveland Browns were saying we're going to the Super Bowl, so is Miami Dolphins. They out the door. Wow, it makes it think. Yeah, listen, Miami's going through growing pains right now. That's what Miami's issue is. And with the onset of a lot of the social media stuff, everybody having the podcast, yours truly included. And by the way, I thank you for joining me. If you on Facebook, hit me up on YouTube, Pro Fan Talk, and please subscribe. Everybody wants instant. Everybody wants a quarterback or offense where you just add water and everybody's all pro. And it don't work like that. Prime example. You look at yesterday. You look at what Jordan Love did. How long have we been waiting on Jordan Love? How long did he have to wait behind Aaron Rodgers? What, 4 years? That's an old school tutoring right there. That's how it used to happen back in the day with, Peyton Manning and back then. Steve Young. How many years did Steve Young have to wait behind Joe Montana? How long did Aaron Rodgers have to wait behind Brett Favre? That's the best way to learn. You got to sit back, and it's going to take a while. You got to take your lumps. You look at what they're doing to Trey Lance. You don't know what that kid is going to turn into. They got lucky with Brock Purdy. They lucked out with him. How many times does that happen? So you can't just draft a quarterback, draft another quarterback, draft another quarterback. Chicago's going through this right now. You tell me that Chicago has provided Justin Fields with adequate talent to win games. You tell me Carolina, with that offensive line, what did you think Bryce Young was going to do? He getting his head torn off. If C.J. Stroud was playing for Carolina with that offensive line, C.J. Stroud would have got yoked up too. That offensive line is horrible. And what are you going to do with that with a young quarterback? That's bad for business. So, William, Green Bay can beat San Francisco. It all depends on how you play it. It all depends on how you play it. The one thing I will say about San Francisco, and this is the credit that I give San Francisco all year. Did I think Brock Purdy was an MVP candidate? No, I did not. Because Brock Purdy ain't even the best player on his team. You take CMC away from that offense, you got problems. You take Debo away from that offense, and you got problems. So for that, I wouldn't put Brock Purdy as an MVP. That's just my opinion. My top 3 MVP candidates was Lamar Jackson 1, Tyreek Hill 2, and CMC 3, Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey had a legit chance to be one of the first non-quarterback MVPs in a long time. Green Bay can beat San Francisco. San Francisco's got great linebackers, but you know what? And I've said this many times. Linebackers cannot cover. They can't. They can run. Fred Warner can fly. Greenlaw can fly. But they can't cover. You put a slot receiver or a running back, and Fred Warner's got to cover him. If they run in deep, he might be able to run with him. But let him run an out, and Fred Warner got to change directions. Covering a receiver or a skill position means you got to move your hips. Linebackers can run, they can't cover. Two different skill sets. So what you do is you get the matchups like San Francisco does. You put CMC, Debo, or Brandon Ayuk at the end on the line of scrimmage, so you line him up like a tight end, so you force the linebackers to have to cover that tight end. Or you'll be playing nickel and bring a cornerback up. The thing with San Francisco is they win in the chess matches. Everybody and their mom knows CMC's going to get the ball. Can't stop it. They know when Debo's going to get that quick slant. Can't stop it. You mean to tell me when Debo turned that 5-yard slant into a 40-yard touchdown, they didn't watch that film when we saw that happen to us against the Eagles? He scored on that touchdown. That was a 5-yard pass, and he was untouched. You can't tell me they didn't watch that on film. I saw it on film, so I knew it was what was coming. And that's the thing of a good team, when they know what's coming and you can't stop it. So Northeast Sports, I'm with you. Green Bay can absolutely beat San Francisco, but Green Bay got to be on their P's and Q's. And don't forget, San Francisco getting paid too. And as long as Brock Purdy keeps doing what he's doing, Brock Purdy is the smartest man in the world because he knows the only thing I got to do to keep winning is to get the ball to Debo, get the ball to CMC, and get the ball to George Kittles. I'm good. Don't matter if it's 5 yards, 10 yards, or 20 yards. Just get the ball in their hands. Get the ball in the hands of your playmakers and let them make plays. That's all you got to do. That's it. That's all you got to do. So, we got to, keep it simple. Get a ball to this man. Get the ball to Swift. Let Agent Zero go to work. Stick Gainwell in there. Gainwell's a good pass blocker. And Gainwell can get good yards. And Gainwell can bounce it for you. He can hit you with a 10 to 15. But you got to get a ball up, man. Got to get a ball up. Northeast Sports, Purdy's not overrated. And this is my problem with people like Purdy. You compare Purdy with the measurables. He's not 6'6". He's not this. He can't throw the ball a country mile. It doesn't matter. They said the same thing about Jalen Hurts last year. They said the same thing about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was taking all of that criticism. Oh, he's just an average quarterback. Who's not going to have a good run when you got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith? And then they start listing all the weapons. And it's like, what team doesn't want to have all of those weapons? So I'm not going to hold that against him. All Purdy does is gets the ball into the hand of his playmakers. And every now and then he's going to hit you with a backside pass for 25, 30 yards. He don't have to throw the ball 50 yards deep. Nobody throws the ball deep. Long balls are overrated. Because if you really look at how the NFL is going today, a 60-yard touchdown pass is a 20-yard pass where the receiver made somebody miss. That's usually what a big play to a receiver is nowadays. Yeah, you can say Hurts is more dynamic than Purdy, but the benefit I give to Purdy is Purdy is not trying to do anything, and this kind of goes into his personality and all that kind of stuff, but Purdy is not trying to play outside of himself. He's not trying to play hero ball, none of that. Purdy is dropping back, getting rid of the ball in 3 seconds. That's what Purdy is doing. That is efficient and that is smart. Purdy is dropping back. Here you go, Debo. You be the hero. Here you go, Kittles. You be the hero. Quick pitch to CMC. You be the hero. That's all he's got to do. And you know what? He's doing that all the way into the playoffs, all the way this year. When they had their little 3-game slide and all of the question marks came up, the only thing he kept doing was doing what he'd been doing. Get the ball to your playmakers. That's all you got to do. All of these immeasurables, as great as we think Aaron Rodgers is, how many Super Bowls did he win? And how many did he lose? All these great quarterbacks, all these draft picks. How many times are they getting to the ultimate level? Even Lamar Jackson, as good as he is playing this year, he's never been to a Super Bowl. That's the only thing that matters. Great, you got the MVP. So, I'm not going to fault anybody, any quarterback, for getting the ball to their playmakers. That is exactly what they were supposed to do. But because in this day and age, in this era of football, because they don't throw the ball 80 yards downfield, they're not a great quarterback. They're like the everybody moves the goalposts. So Dak Prescott can throw the ball a country mile. Guess what? He's watching from home. He'll be watching these games today from his home. So Northeast, you still got to do. There are some things that has to happen, but, and this is where I will separate myself and say, okay, now let me speak as a player, not as a fan. When you at practice, when you in the film room and you see what guys do and the work that they put in, and you see the results that they get, you understand why. Purdy ain't no different. Purdy ain't no different than Jalen Hurts. You'll never have an issue about him working hard, putting in the time. You'll never have a situation where he going off on players, yelling at stuff and doing all that crap Brady used to do. You'll never have a situation like that. He's even keel. He keeps his temperament in check. He knows how to be a leader because you lead by example. You don't have to be the rah-rah guy. And all he does is get the ball to the people, the right people, so they can make plays. That's a winning combination. It's that simple. But my alarm went off, so my time is done, and I got to get back to it. Man, this was a great chat. I appreciate all my homies on Facebook popping in. Byron Jones, William, I appreciate it. I'm gonna do this again every time I go live on YouTube. I'm gonna stream on Facebook too. I seem to like that interaction. And like I said, if you're on Facebook, check me out on YouTube, Pro Fan Talk. Hit subscribe. We trying to grow. My goal, I gotta hit 2,000 subscribers before the Super Bowl. That's the goal now. 2,000 subscribers. I'm at 1,850 or something like that. I'm about 150 away, so I got some work to do. So, but I gotta get out of here, man. Northeast, man, I appreciate the chat, bro. The chat was live today, and we're gonna do this again. So I appreciate all you guys. I will be going live tonight after the game. I will be going Facebook Live at halftime of our game, and I will be live streaming after the game. So if you can tune in, please do. All right? I appreciate you guys. The chat was fire today, bro. This is the first time I've done it at lunchtime. This will not be the last. So I appreciate y'all, and I will check you guys out. I will see you guys tonight.